it's SHANNA, I'll just put it on the screen. My topic is DNA privacy. Alright, the two sides are people who support DNA being private or the people that don't support it. The people that support DNA being private say that personal identification for the military is okay, but it can't be used for anything else. And people who don't support it say that it can be used by employers and by the government. Now, I say DNA should not be kept private, and that's because of many reasons. One is because it can be used in solving crimes. If the police had a whole database of DNA, they could just run any DNA substances that they find on surfaces of crime scenes through their database and find out who was at the crime and hopefully find out who committed the crime then. And this will cause crimes to be found who the criminal was faster and easier, and it'll make it quicker for them to be put in jail or court. And on the screen there's a sample of a DNA mouth swab kit with a man putting a DNA mouth swab in it to be tested to see if it matches DNA found at a crime scene. Another reason DNA should not be kept private is because it's used to identify dead remains. So if they had a database with everyone's DNA in it, then military members who die overseas and they're not identifiable, they can have DNA samples used to find out who the person was so they can tell the family member. And it can also be used that way in crimes too, because if the victims aren't identifiable, then they can run the DNA and find out who the people were and tell the family of that person. And they can also help the crime, because if the police know who died, then they can help to find out how and why they died. And on the screen here, there's a lab class that has a skeleton, and they're going to take DNA samples of it and test them. Another reason DNA should not be kept private is because it's already protected under legislation, and it can be protected further. It's protected under the Department of Defense Directive, which says companies must implement special rules and procedures to assure the protection of privacy interests in specimen samples and any DNA analysis of these samples, in accordance with subsection. And it also says that sample usage is limited to identification of human remains, internal quality assurance tests, and any use of which the donor consents, and a criminal investigation or prosecution that follows certain credentials. Which basically says that someone sitting at their computer at home can't just order a sample of your DNA and have it sent to them, and then they can go commit a crime and then set out your DNA someplace for the police to find. They can't just do that. They have to have certain reasons and follow certain credentials that are said within legislation. And they can also add to the legislation and say things like they cannot discriminate for insurance reasons, like Dan said. Just like you can't discriminate against race or anything. You can't discriminate if someone has a gene of cancer and it might cause issues for the insurance company. And my references, my presentation.